in the life of the beauty industry in the world, right?
Yeah. As all of you are certainly aware, with all the noise that there is in the world right now over COVID-19, the coronavirus, and how fast it's spread, we kind of felt it was important that you hear a voice, you hear our voice, and relative to PSC and our performance and our team and the products that you want and need to run your businesses. We want to say very quickly that this is based on information that we have at this moment, as all of you know as business people.
And at 8 o'clock tonight it could change, or 6
5
a.m.
minutes from now
tomorrow.
it could change.
That's
While
right.
we're talking to you, it could change.
We'll give the example on Friday, because that was good.
What happened on Friday is that at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, made the decision to announce that we had closed the clinic floor in our 2 Paul Mitchell schools. And at 5 o'clock, based on the information that happened from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, we decided to close our school. And again, that's just how quickly it can go. So I want to preface this with saying that what we're going to share with you is, as of right now, we will, of course, comply with anything that the state, the 2 states that we represent, or the government requires us to do. So we wanted to start with just kind of our statement. Those of you that know us know we don't go off script. We go totally off script. We never go by a script. And here we've got the news desk, and so
No. This is going out.
We're not going to do this.
Well,
This
we're
is going
shipping
out?
this all out, but we're going to let them know some of the things that we're doing on the inside, because they said, how are we responding? And every salon that we've talked to is doing it a little bit differently. And as of right now, I believe the announcement was yesterday that all public places, restaurants and bars, had to close their internal operations and can be only a drive-through or a pickup window at best. It hasn't been announced for all small businesses yet, because, but is it next? You don't know that.
Sure.
So, and then is the ratio different, or can you only have so many people in the front of your business at a time in contact with the community? We're not sure, but we're not trying to panic. We're trying to prepare and plan, because I'm not saying it's going to get worse, but I think it might tighten up.
Well, everyone that we've heard says it is going to get worse from a standpoint of the number of cases that have been diagnosed and the speed with which it's traveling. So it's going to get worse before it turns and starts to get better. So certainly, as businesses, we have to be vigilant to what's going on. We have to be thinking about what's next and what we need to do. And we also have to take a moment to pat ourselves on the back, because we chose this year as our gift going into 2020 a book called Stay Positive, right? Was that brilliant or what?
Counterintuitive.
Yeah, it's amazingly brilliant. So what I think is that I'm going to a quote from this book. It says, "People often say that adversity makes you stronger, but that's not always true. Many face adversity and become fearful and fragile as a result. The truth is, adversity makes you stronger if you learn from it. Stay positive, resilient, and use it as fuel for your growth." That one jumped out at me today, because we know that we're going to hear over the next several months. This isn't something that's going to happen today. I had a chat with a salon owner this morning, and we talked about what happens in their area when there's a snowstorm, and how businesses close down, salons close down, and then her salon gets busier because maybe the people that were on the books that day, their normal guests, canceled. All the guests from the other salons that wanted their hair done wound up coming into her salon because she stayed open. And so you're going to hear about things. This isn't a snowstorm. This isn't let the snowplows get through and tomorrow it's going to be better. This is something that we're going to strategically move through. And we hope that we're going to be a well-studied voice. We hope that we're going to be a voice that offers hope and positivity as we go through this. We hope that we're going to lead by example. And the example is that we're going to do everything that we can to maintain the level of service that you have expected over our years at PSC. And so the first thing I want to address is what about inventory levels? Again, provided everything keeps going as it is right now and the government doesn't step in, our inventory levels are solid internally. I think you know that from the fact that you're receiving orders and the orders are coming through in full or very close to in full. Our vendors, Paul Mitchell, certainly we've heard nothing but a great source of supply. Davines right now, their warehouse in New Jersey, which is where they are, has about 8 weeks of stock and another 4 to 5 weeks on the ocean.
That's their North America warehouse.
Their North America warehouse.
Yes.
So we're good. We're solid there for about 3 more months. And they continue to ship. They continue to, they're working in their hub in Parma, Italy. Same thing with Panzeri and Z1 Concept, milkshake products. They are producing the brand. They continue to ship. They are on moderate staff reductions based on what's going on in Italy, but all of the freight. Remember, the limitations that our president put on Europe was for people, for European people not to be able to enter America. It was not for European cargo. There's no way, there's nothing that's been proven that the virus can live on a surface for more than 9 days. When something comes across on the ocean, it takes about 30 days.
I thought it was 9 hours, no?
9
9
hours.
days?
No.
9 hours
Is it
on a
9
surface.
hours? I might have misspoke.
Well, I might have misheard.
So anyway, whether it's 9 hours or 9 days, one of those two is probably right. What you're going to find is that the product stays on the water for 30 days. Then it goes through customs. Then it has to be go to the warehouse, and then sometime well after that, it goes from the warehouse in New Jersey to come here in Joliet, and so it takes time, and certainly any remnants, if any, were ever there of that virus have dissipated and gone. So it's safe merchandise that comes in. It's in stock. It's ready to ship. There needs to be no panic involved or hoarding or buying up. We're not shipping additional toilet paper with the products that go out to you today and every day. We haven't got a solution for that. I'm sorry. We'll let the big box retailers figure out how to do that. But we're gonna pay attention to what we do, which is provide salons with appropriate service and leadership.
So inventory's good. Rest your mind on that. The second thing that we were talking about today is we brought our team of leadership together, and their intentions and their abilities to think through with us is powerful. So we started making a list of things that we needed to do on top of sanitation. I don't think we need to discuss sanitation.
We've been doing things all along
Yes.
for the COVID-19 coronavirus, but we just felt with everything that's happened in the last 5 days, it's ramped up. I mean, we've never closed our schools.
Well, we've got teammates asking us questions, and one of the questions that came out last week, and I'm sure some of you owners may hear this as well, is how are you going to protect us? How are you going to keep us safe here? And boy, first time I've ever had that question, except for even a tornado coming through, but first time I've ever had that question asked in 30 years here. And so I was alarmed by it, but also I thought, thank you for someone saying it to us, because they have real fear. And the news media and social media doesn't make that any easier. So we talked about today the things that we're going to do during this time on top of our sanitation disciplines. One of the things is we're going to postpone or cancel any non-necessary travel, any non-essential. And really everything is non-essential right now, if you think about it. We also are inviting our employees, we're doing a survey of all of them that have people that they may habitat with that are at risk. I have an example. My mother's 87, respiratory heart situation. She lives with us. That puts our household more at risk than others. We also have people that have asthma or are in that age group that could be considered more risk than others. And so we're taking a look at those employees and talking through them and see what their level of comfort is. And perhaps we will ask them to stay behind. If it's too much for them, we understand, right?
And again, there's plenty of great resources that are out there that will help you to move through
And
this.
navigate through it.
The CDC, of course, is an outstanding. The World Health Organization is another one. And the Illinois Department of Public Health and the Indiana Department of Public Health are also great resources. We're even looking into, I get regularly the California Health Department because they tend to be a little bit more, I don't know if liberal's the word. They just they react quickly. And so I want to see what's going on there. And so when we look at that, non-essential travel, absolutely. People that are more high risk. So what's high risk? As Terry said, it can be asthma, it's lung disease, it's heart disease, it is diabetes, and it's age. Those things are particularly challenging, not only for the individual, so the individual being either the guest that's in front of you or the staff member that works with you, but also, as Terry said, their habitat. So when they're at home, who are they exposed to? Because when they come out and they go back, they take that potentially with them. So we have to look at it.
The other thing we're asking, the other thing that we're asking is that our consultants, if at all possible, use technology as a form of communicating with you, whether it be FaceTime, a go-to meeting, but instead of going from salon to salon to salon, we felt that a little distance there, because you almost build up an immune system to the people you work with all the time, or even your guests. But a consultant going salon to salon to salon, they're carrying all of that with them. So we're asking them, if at all possible, can they do remote meetings during this delicate time. The other thing we're going to be doing is we're allowing certain employees, if they can work from home and their job allows them to do that, we're looking at that as an option too. We're going to cancel all of our specialty education. That's our fee-based advanced education, all that's hosted by PSC. We're canceling that. Trish will be providing.
It's really more of a postponement.
Yes.
There's nothing that's going to just go away and not be offered. It will be offered throughout the balance of the year, God willing, and based on space as well, being able to adequately host it. But we are absolutely positive that this too shall pass. We're going to be back offering the incredible education that we're known for. And Trish and her team are going to lead us in that. So we remain excited about that. But we just felt the issue in education and when we host programs here in our theater or in our classrooms, that we're flying somebody in. They're staying in a hotel. We don't know what they can be, we can't all walk around in bubbles, but we've got to take the obvious stuff out of play.
Well, the last thing we want them is not to be able to get home.
Right, and to be able to accomplish proper social distance in an event, you'd be here, let's say there were 6 of you that came, you'd all be sitting 6 feet apart from one another. And we'd be sitting at every other tier of the theater in order to make that happen. And so it's not the right time for us to be coming forward with education, in our opinion, in our setting, and in our particular application. We want to do it top-notch, first class, the way we always have, serving you your meals while you're here, and being able to enjoy each other as you're here too.
The other thing we're going to be doing for a short period of time, we hope, is to postpone our in-salon education. Now, we do have some caveats to that, whether we're launching or something has to have education. Trish will talk through the owner with that personally, but you will be informed, and once again, we'll get those scheduled probably in the weeks ahead. We're going to be, of course, following and listening to the direction of the experts right now. And someone might raise their hand and say, okay, who's your expert? Who's your expert? Who's your expert? Right? However, all of it, I think, has good intentions to protect the people, and that's what we need to do. You know, when you think about PSC right now, and I'm sure many of you owners can agree, it's to protect our staff emotionally and physically during this time, so they can deliver the PSC service in the way which all of you have grown accustomed to. So those are the things that we're going to be doing. Now let's talk about salons. You may have a high cancellation rate right now. Would I fine anyone during this time? Probably not. I know that operationally it's going to be tough. Cash is going to be tight. I think that we don't know what we can bank on right now, and usually we have an idea of how much is going to come in on any given week. That's going to be difficult right now. Some of the staff may feel very threatened to do hair during this time, and I would really ask that you manage their comfort level. That's what we're going to be doing here. We don't want to be someone to be coming to the office scared all day. I mean, that's a huge distraction for them. And some can handle it and some can't.
Yeah. You know what, and I've got to say that I've heard from many salons, either through their consultant or directly to me today and over the previous days as well. And the thing I want to say is that I've heard everything from everybody on our team wants to keep working to everybody on our team doesn't want to keep working. They want the salon to close. And I've got to tell you, I've felt that pressure myself, certainly with the schools, because, you know, here's our two cohorts or constituencies, the team that works there, and, well, three actually, the team that works there, the students or future professionals, and then the guest that comes in to be serviced to allow the practice for our future professionals. And we really felt like that we could protect 2 out of the 3 pretty adequately. But the one that we couldn't was between the student and the guest. Mm-hmm. There was no way to secure either social distance or to know for sure if the person coming in to sit in that chair was carrying the virus or was sick themselves with anything, with cold, with flu. Certainly if someone presents sniffling and sneezing and coughing, that's someone that's ill in some fashion. Not saying that they have COVID-19, but they're ill in some fashion. And we can refuse, and you can refuse. We were taking temperatures of people. The limit for temperatures is 100.4. But even there, if someone took any kind of a Motrin or an aspirin, it would bring the temperature down. You and I both know that when people want their hair done, they want their hair done. They're not always going to tell you the truth. We had a little waiver that people signed on the way in that asked 4 different questions, that if they said yes to any of those 4 questions, then we would ask to reschedule
What were
their
those 4
appointment.
questions they're going to want to know?
The questions were, are you feeling sick yourself? Have you traveled to any of the 4 level 3 concerned countries, mm-hmm. South Korea, China, Italy, and Iran, within the last 14 days? Have you been seen in a facility that's treated COVID-19 coronavirus patients? In other words, I went to a hospital or a doctor's office where they treated guests that presented and were positive with the coronavirus. Mm-hmm. And then the fourth thing, it's like the 7 dwarfs, you know? There's always one you forget. I got this one. I got to think about it. So sick, have you traveled? Have you been seen by someone? Or have you yourself been exposed directly with someone that did travel or that did have symptoms of the coronavirus? Now, if they checked yes to any one of those, we rescheduled their appointment. Here's the thing. They didn't always necessarily tell the truth. We couldn't prove it. Mm-hmm. And so we couldn't say categorically to our future professionals that you are not going to be exposed to this. And so
and they don't say that when you walk into Jewel either, Steve.
no, or Target or any
That's right.
store anywhere. So it's what makes it tough. We have never been here before. I'm saying we as business people and as citizens, we've never been here before. This is unprecedented. So there's many rights, meaning right answers, and what you've got to do is what feels right and correct for you. You've got to ensure sanitation. You've got to ensure that the most safe environment for your guests and also very importantly for your team.
One of the things that we did, and I'm thinking you may want to do this as well, everything that had to do with community, we eliminated. Our coffee service is suspended right now. Our candy bar is suspended. In our powder rooms, we had hairsprays and other amenities, and we took all that away. So you get rid of the things that multiple people can touch and enjoy, so you can limit. You're just looking around and saying, right now, we need to pause our service on this, pause our service on that, pause what we're doing in this capacity, washing our phones, of course, washing your hands, but looking at all the tools that we use and taking it for granted. People share a lot of things, pens and tools and counters and cups, and so how do you prevent all of that from happening?
So
You don't.
don't.
You just try to slow it down.
And kind of what I think is this. We're seeing right now, we're seeing kind of an overreaction of hysteria, or we're seeing the other side, which is almost a flippancy or it's the flu. What's everybody fussing about? Why are they buying up all the groceries and all the tissue and whatnot? It's no big deal. What's somewhere in between that?
Well, I think the other thing that can be difficult during right now is this could become a very scary negative conversation if you let it get out of control. Watch the way this is taking over the salon. I'm not saying it's not going to be conversation, but you don't want to have it be, the epidemic conversation, right?
So salon owners, one thing I want you to know, I listened to someone that's a mentor of mine and that I respect greatly, John Maxwell, last night in a podcast. And if any of you contact me directly, I'd be happy to share that podcast with you. But it's John and a couple of other leaders talking about leading through the coronavirus scare that's out there, the reality, the pandemic. And he said this. He said that a leader in this time, first of all, is a purveyor of hope. And that's that we're responsible. We first of all have to have that belief. That first of all, however you believe in your heart and in your soul, God's never not kept his promise. The sun comes up every single day. This too shall pass. We've got a choice either to have faith or have fear. And I'm going to opt on the faith side. And so we have to be those purveyors of hope. And that hope is that we're going to lead people kind of through this. We're going to be vigilant to them. And so what he said is that as a leader, you have a voice. And you need to use your voice. And that if your voice doesn't sound like a leader, if it sounds like everyone else, the followers, then you're a follower, you're not a leader. Your voice is needed right now in your business. And I've certainly seen that in our businesses. And it's not something where what we're going to try and do is be more present, to be more vocal, and to update people more often than we have in the past, because it's necessary right now. With all the noises out there, a voice is necessary, and that's yours as a leader in your constituency, in your own salon, and with your guests. They want to know what you're thinking. They want to know what you see. They want to know if you're scared, they're scared. They want to know how you are communicating with the salon's guests. All of those things are what's important. None of us are going to make every decision right. We're going to make some mistakes along the way because it's brand new, uncharted water. You know, I've already made some. I'm sure, Terry, you feel the same way.
Sure.
We've already made some. That's just part of it.
Well, and I tend to listen and to understand and then respond because of my understanding. That means I'm limited to my own understanding. You've got to use the powers that be right now and really get in the minds of everyone. I heard a couple viewpoints today just talking to our directors that I wouldn't have taken into consideration. It wasn't on my radar, my thought process at all. So encourage them. This isn't a time to say dig a hole and jump in. This is a time to say, what can we do? What are we in control of? And how do we respond to this in a professional, cautious way, if anything? And that's not easy to do. However, dialogue is key. People may come to you and ask questions, and they're looking for you to have answers and say, you know what, let me research that. Or I know where I can look it up. I know who I can call. And take advantage of that. I was on the phone with an owner this morning, and because she's got this down, she needed help in other areas. We didn't talk about this topic once. It was amazing to me. And I thought, that's for sure what this call is going to be. It wasn't. She had that. She was asking for some other things right now. So let's look at this. Are we prepared? What kind of notice is going out? Protect the integrity of your business, the safety of your employees and guests, emotionally and physically, both. And let's just pay attention. This is not a political event to become a political event in your business. Protect that. That's not necessary. You respond to what's going on, but this is not political.
I think one of my last thoughts is another quote from this book, and it says here, every person and every team will be tested on their journey. It's part of the curriculum of life. It's just like riding a bike. In the beginning, you're going to fall off and get knocked down. But the important thing is to get back up, stay strong, and after a while, you'll master and ride with the confidence of a champion. We don't know everything that we need to know right now, but we will as time goes on. And we'll keep getting back up and we'll keep riding that bike until we can go forward with the confidence of a champion. That's what we want to invite you to. Don't feel like, sometimes you carry that owner's guilt that you've got to have all the answers. You don't. Do your best every step of the way.
That's right.
Make the best decision for all your people. And if you make the wrong decision, go about making it right.
So if you need us, if there's more updates that we think we need to respond to, we'll do another Facebook Live. Is it Facebook Live? Good. And we'll add another story. Once again, this all could change by morning.
Yeah, may see you tomorrow. Who knows? You might get sick of us.
Okay, everyone be good, be healthy, and be good to each other.
Be kind to each other.
Be kind. Yep, good.